Yo, what's going on, y'all? It's your boy So, and welcome back to another Heat playoff post-game recap presented to you by Empire Boutique. You know we're repping the 305, and if we're repping the 305, we got to have a guy who's from the 305 making big-time noise, my main man, Jaime Gutierrez. What's up, brother?
What's up, So? How you doing, brother? How's everything?
I'm doing well, man. Thanks for asking. How are you doing, dog?
Good. I'm right now in Mexico, 2 hours behind your East Coast time, but I'm good. All good.
But you're out there watching Heat basketball.
No, of course, bro. I mean, I had to find a spot, man. I had to find a spot where I actually made the hotel or put it in the lobby. I was like, hey, man, we gotta have that Heat game tonight.
We need that. We need that.
Yeah, did me a favor.
That's what's up, man. Jaime, before we get started, man, let the people know where they can find you on your Instagram so they can check out all the amazing work you do with FIBA, brother.
Jay Gutierrez, just J, the letter J, last name Gutierrez, FIBA. That's for everything. Instagram, Twitter, Facebook is my name. So that's the handle, man.
Awesome, man. And like I said, this post game is presented to you by Empire Boutique. We got to get my man Jaime in one of these 305 high elite shirts.
Yeah, no one told me I gotta get one Victor. Victor is like, yo, I gotta put you down, man. So
we got you, man.
He owes me one too. He owes me one.
We got you, man. Jaime, I know you're out there in Mexico right now watching the game and covering the under 20 basketball tournament. But tonight was a big game for the Heat, right? And I'm interested to see what you saw, because for me, I saw a different Heat team show up. I saw a team that was more aggressive on defense, more willing to take chances defensively, and a team who was focused on not doubling Joker and shutting down everybody else.
Yeah, so it's funny you say that. First game one, I'm like, obviously I saw the length and the height of Denver just basically like be an out, it was outmatched for the Heat. It was you have the Joker, you have Aaron Gordon, you have MJP, you have Pope. Those guys are lengthy and tall. What I said is like, man, let Joker get 50, 60 points and let everybody else beat you. Not that, these guys can't score and they're not great players, but is this, if you make one guy get 50, then the person's going to be on like, all right, I need you guys also to step up. I think that's what I saw the Heat do tonight. Joker got his buckets, all over the place, but there was a little lack of, contribution from the other guys. We didn't see Aaron Gordon go off like he would in the first quarter of the first game.
True.
We didn't see MJP hit, 2 or 3 or 4 crucial threes throughout the game, So I think that's what was different. And, at the end of the day, we got the W, but it was a close little heart attack at the end. But the doubles are dub. It doesn't matter how you get it. Like Butler says, if it's ugly and it's a W on the scoreboard, that's all that counts.
Absolutely. And more importantly, it shows that Denver is vulnerable, right? They were undefeated at home throughout this playoff, and we go out there and continue to be the road warriors that the Heat have been. You mentioned something, the Denver role players, they didn't get off, in that game because Joker was limited as far as his passing. Our guys came out on fire, which we kind of expected. Strus got hot early. We saw Gabe Vincent make a bunch of big shots. Duncan come in and contribute. Pretty much everybody who we had seen throughout these playoffs show up and really go out there and make a big difference. Like for me, once I saw this 3 right here from Strus, I was like, oh shit, it's on, dog. It's really on, because this dude hit it, in rhythm, and that was something that was missing from game 1.
No, definitely Strus came out, locked in, like we would say. And then there was actually one possession, where I saw, I go back to everything that the team has talked about, and Butler has said, when they asked him the question of like, how can you get your role players or your teammates more involved than what you expect of them. And I remember him saying in the press conference, Butler said, even though I'm gonna get my shots or I'm gonna be looking at them, and even if they're 0 for 10, like he said, or 0 for 11, I expect them that they're ready for the next pass to hit the shot. And during the game today, I saw one time where I think Strus had missed the last 3, and Butler kind of was cutting to the middle, and Pope collapsed a little bit, and he kicked it back out to Strus, and he hit the 3, a deep one too. I think that's at the end of the day, that's what matters. He says it. He trusts his teammates. You got to trust your teammates in this situation. It was an all around effort. I felt that starting Love could worked, I mean, I love Caleb, but it's just there's more body in Denver,
Right. Right.
it's simple, it's Caleb is a very, lengthy, it's very lanky, strong guy, but he's not Joker, which has the mass, he's not Aaron Gordon, which has the mass,
Right.
those guys, an elbow or two and it's over, so I think Kevin Love being inserted in the lineup kind of like, frustrated them a little bit because it's size, it's a body that they're not gonna be
True.
being able to just push around.
Yeah, and I was going to ask you about that, and I'm glad you brought it up because Kevin Love has been this is his 5th finals now, so he has a ton of experience. He knows what it takes to win games and how to defend guys. I'm sure that's a guy who's, constantly in the videotape room, talking to Coach Spo and seeing what he can do to add to this team defensively. And one thing that has been, I don't want to say lacking from this team, but just the something that we needed that we didn't know we needed was his passing. He had about 3 or 4 good outlet passes, including the one to Bam where he got the clear path foul. And that was a big shift in the game, right? It came when the game was, I think it was 64-64 with about 9 minutes left in the third quarter, and it kind of shifted the momentum a little bit towards the Heat. Tonight, we saw the Heat's other unsung heroes show up. Who impressed you the most? Because when you look at the stat sheet, you got Bam with 21, Gabe Vincent with 23, Strus with 14 points, Duncan with a very important 10 points. Who stood out to you the most tonight?
To me, Gabe Vincent, man. I think Gabe Vincent stood out the most. I think I really enjoy him. I really enjoy seeing him play ball. I really like his mid jumper, his mid jumper is almost, I'm not going to say automatic because, it's automatic, but it's almost damn near automatic, I always have a good feeling that when he goes to his left or to his right, and he's either doing a pick and roll with Bam or Butler, and they kind of play a little bit off of him, and he pulls up from like 17 or 18 feet. I'm almost always like, that's a great shot. It's like almost like automatic for him. It's like he's in rhythm, and he's just like feels it. He feels good, and I love when he takes those shots. So I think for me, that was the unsung hero today. He felt comfortable, he just looked like in rhythm, especially early in the game. I think that helped him and the other guys around him kind of feel like, okay, we got something tonight.
Yeah, for sure. And you know what? His 3-point shooting has really been an X factor for us in these 2 games. I think he's shooting over 50% from 3 so far. And like you said, he's very confident in his shot because he knows he can get to positions on the court where it's a high efficient shot for him. I want to show you this highlight right quick of Jimmy, because he was kind of frustrating throughout the game. But you see here going against Joker, he was committed to get into the paint. And I felt like that was a big key for him, right? Where he would get into the paint and maybe pass it a couple of too many times, but he was able to penetrate their defense and really open up the lane for everybody else and open up the shots for all those other guys.
Yeah, I think, look, at the end of the day, Butler he's not able to get to his spots as easy as he wants. Again, because of Joker, because of Aaron Gordon, because of MJP. They're very long. They're long and they're big, That doesn't mean that Butler can't get to them, but it's much more difficult for him than any other series, I think that, it shows you because he can't get to his spots. But when he does, he still hits it, he gets it. And he hits his little mid-range jumpers. He had two. He had, I think it was 2 or 1 key 3-pointer. Coming off a screen, I think it was. But again, I think that the length and the body of the Denver Nuggets is what bothers him, Butler. But I think he still manages, like he says, trust his teammates. Look, go back to that. Caleb Martin was what, 0 for 8?
0 for 7 in the 0 points.
And he was in the corner. He threw him the pass, and boom, Martin hit the 3. A very crucial 3.
A very crucial 3.
We just won by 3. So if he didn't trust him to hit that 3, even after he was 0 for 7 or 0 for 8, whatever, we would have not won. You know what I'm saying? Because it would have been a tie game. That now that you look back, that 3-pointer was crucial. That 3-pointer was crucial. He made it. He trusted Caleb, and whatever. We're 1-1 going back to Miami.
Yeah, he definitely made the more crucial plays in the fourth quarter, right? Because Joker went off in the third quarter. He had 18 points, right? Was really getting into the paint, causing a lot of havoc. But I said it on the podcast, and I'll continue to say it. If Joker is the guy who kills you, let him kill you with him scoring 50 points, like you were saying, right? He can't have those 15 assists, 16 assists game. And we saw that make a big difference tonight, where he only ended up with 5 assists and nobody else really had more than 20 something points for Denver. For me, I feel like the biggest X factor so far this series and will be for the series is Bam. You look at his stat line, the guy had 21 points, 9 rebounds, 4 assists, 2 blocks, and all of that while facing a bigger, tougher opponent in Joker, tough Simon and Gordon. Talk to me about what Bam means to this offense and to this team, not only on the defensive side, because we know what he can do defensively, but more on the offensive side.
Look, I think for me, Bam is in great rhythm when he's at the top of the key and he shoots, or at the corner and he shoots, or he gets it on the baseline and he pulls up, I really don't like when Bam, puts his back to the basket, because then he can't see the court. It's like I feel he can't see everyone on the court. I feel that when he matches up with anybody, he stands up, and face to face, and he's either pulls up for that 15, 16 footer, or he puts the ball on the floor and takes it to the rack, and then makes his little move, his little left or his little right hook. He's much more effective, and obviously he's done it in game 1 and he's done it in game 2, and I want him to continue to do that. I don't want him with his back to the basket. I think that especially in this series, there's no need for him to have his back to the basket. I think that there's more straight up pop, kind of player for this series, and I think that's important because, again, they collapse on him. He's going to be able to see the court. He's going to be able to dish it out. He's going to be able to see a cutter. Bam's a great passer. But that's why I say that. Bam is a great passer. So that's why I prefer for him to not be, with his back to the basket, because then he can't see the whole court,
Yeah.
So I think that's what's gonna continue to be very important throughout the series. And I think that if he continues to do that and play how he's playing, there's a couple times that he goes away from it and he puts his back to the basket, and it's fair. He's got a smaller guy on him. But if he continues to play the way he's been playing, where he gets the ball top of the key, in the corner, and he just either puts it on the floor or just pulls up, that's going to cause a lot of problems for Denver, because then they're going to have to play Bam out. Joker's going to have to come out more, a little bit more to the free throw line, and then I don't know who's going to be able to rebound if like Aaron Gordon's on the bench, or MJP's on the bench. It's going to be a little harder. We'll see. It's going to be good going into Miami 1-1. I guess like everything says, now it's a series.
Now it's a series.
Now it's a series because Denver didn't win both games at home. So now we have a series, So
for sure. One of the things that Bam is mostly underrated on, a big time underrated when he's faced up, like you said, is the picks that he sets, and we see it here. He sets an amazing pick, Lowry with a great pass, and he's able to finish even with the contact. Those are things that Bam can do night in, night out, every night for the Heat, and it makes such a big difference in how we're able to flow offensively, because once they start paying attention to that, then it opens up Duncan. We saw Strus get open for some shots. We saw Gabe Vincent get open, even Kyle Lowry. That guy's role on this team has really expanded, seeing the amount of guards that we have that we were kind of questioning before, but now we see how much it can have a big effect on those teams that are trying to defend Bam in that fashion.
Yeah, and I think that, again, him facing up to the basket and being able to see the whole court is going to open up a lot of opportunities for the guys. Like you said, Duncan, Strus, Lowry, even Butler, even Jimmy, when Jimmy's cutting or maybe he hands the ball off to Jimmy, or maybe Jimmy's floating around and he's in the corner at the top of the key for a 3-pointer, which he's made. Yeah. Those are going to be key, points. And I'm going to make even a further point here, right? If Bam continues to play like this, right, and the speculation of Hero coming to game 3, right, and he's probably not going to start, and he's probably not going to play 30 minutes because, he needs to get in that condition. But maybe those 10, 12 minutes that he does play, if Bam continues to play like that and you have Strus, Robinson, and Hero, maybe in a 4-minute, 5-minute span, that's a problem. That's a big problem for any team, not just Denver, because from wherever place you collapse, if you have Struce, Robinson, or Hero in the outside,
That's a big three.
that's a big problem to face, because any of those guys can knock down a three even with a guy in your face.
Yeah.
It's not like they need a lot of space. So I think, man, if Bam continues to play like that, and Hero comes back game three, hopefully, I mean, we have a chance to maybe go up 2-1. I look, at the end of the day, I don't know much about this series, just because it's very like, back and forth in some things, like, if we go on a run, I feel good, but I know personally that Denver has the talent to be like, all right, we're coming back, and then on the flip side of talent, if Denver gets a big lead, we know that they can sustain it. It's not like all these other teams where they lack the power, the firepower to continue to not build on that lead. But what I will say is that the Heat love playing those little 2-3 point games, those 4 point games,
yes,
which
sir.
I'm not sure if Denver likes playing. I'm not sure if Denver likes playing. And one thing that one of my boys said was that, and I'm looking at it now, and I'm like, he might be right, is that Denver really hasn't faced a team in throughout these playoffs that gave him that little issue of
True.
like, okay, we're in a tight game now. We're in a grind, those grinded type of games,
Yeah.
And we'll see, like, what was the final score there? I forgot the final score. 111,
108.
111, 108. So look at it again. Denver scored only 108,
Yeah.
I don't know. They don't like those grinded type of games, which you already know that he loved that type of thing. They want to give an attack to the fan base because they love that little grinded type of game. But we'll see, man. We'll see.
Tonight was definitely a harder type of game, right? Because there were, a long stretch where Denver really controlled the game, right? Third quarter, they end up second quarter, they end up scoring 34 points. Third quarter, they end up scoring 26 points. A lot of that coming from Joker and just able to sustain a lead. But you mentioned the Heat liking those type of games where they're the underdogs and teams think that it's a wrap before the game is even over. And then boom, we see a shift in the momentum. The Heat come out and start the fourth quarter 9 of 10 from the field, and everything changes. All the momentum is on our side. Most of that has to do with Jimmy Butler. Now, he had played a very frustrating game up until the fourth quarter, right? He ends up with a kind of weird stat line for him. 7 of 19, 2 of 5 from 3, which is surprising. Not so surprising was his 5 of 5 from the free throw, but he also ended up with 9 assists for 21 points. What can we expect from Jimmy in this series? Because it really seems like the length and the body types that Denver has is really affecting him. You mentioned it earlier where he's not able to get to those spots. How is he going to be able to change that offensively with Spoke?
Well, I don't think there's going to be any changes. What I will tell you this, and there's one thing I really enjoy about Jimmy, and knowing, being a basketball head and playing basketball and all this stuff. There's one thing that I really respect from Jimmy Butler, and I really enjoy watching Jimmy Butler, is that Jimmy Butler is the type of player, and he says it, this is not nothing new. He lets the game come to him. He doesn't, he won't be the guy that's like, all right, I missed 2 shots, I need to take a third one to get back in rhythm,
True.
Or I made 5, I need to take let me do a heat check. Yeah. He's not like that, he really just isn't, he's like he says, I'm not for everybody, he's not for everybody,
Yeah.
He's not that type of player, which I really enjoy watching because he lets the game come to him. And trust me, this could be very frustrating for a lot of fans because
it was tonight.
Because you're like, Jimmy, we need you. Jimmy, you got to wake up. Jimmy, we need 40 from you. Jimmy, we need 35 from you. Jimmy, this, Jimmy, that. But it's not his game. It really is not his game. He's a very savvy, very smart, very, intellectual type of player that just lets the game come to him. Those are very rare players, that are very like, okay, I'm just gonna let the game come to me, and when I get the open shot, I'm gonna take it. When I see the open pass, I'm gonna pass it, and that's how he gets into the flow of the game. He doesn't get into the flow of the game jacking up shots because I'm 1 for 6. I need to get in rhythm.
Right.
He's not that type of player. So it's. I think that's the way he's gonna continue to insert himself in the series, and I think that. Look, bottom line, as Heat fans, we have to enjoy it and respect it because that's him. He's not doing Wade. He's not Wade. He's not LeBron, he's not none of these guys that we've had in the past, he's not Tim Hardaway or anything like that. He's just not that guy, he's not that type of guy. Reminds me a little bit about Chris Bosh, but Chris Bosh was a pure scorer, Chris Bosh was a pure scorer. So not very, very similar there, but I remember at times Bosh would let the game come to him, especially during the Big Three era. He knew that he had to let the game come to him,
Right.
So he would let it. But, in this case, Butler being like the alpha that we have, and it's very strange that he plays that way because he could be the alpha the whole game. He could, look, reality is, and everybody knows, Jimmy Butler could take 35 shots a game and we wouldn't be mad. Would we be mad? It'd be stupid if we'd be mad.
Ain't nobody complaining about that.
Exactly. You know what I'm saying? So I don't think that it's a problem. It's just it is who he is. He likes the game to come to him.
True. And it definitely, if it feels like that, and if you're a Heat fan, you've been through this roller coaster before with Jimmy. And at the end of the day, all that man does is make clutch plays. He made the clutch assist to Gabe. He made clutch free throws. He made clutch passes, offensive rebound that got that pass to Caleb, right? This is the dude who's going to do everything it takes in order to win a game. And that's what he's about. He's about winning. One thing that I did notice looking at the stats is besides the 3-point shooting, because we have been a great 3-point shooting this entire playoff run, right? We were 17 of 35 for 48%. Bigger point for me, was the free throw disparity. We went 18 of 20, 90%. Last game, we only had 2 free throws. And you could just tell that everybody was playing with that energy tonight to make something happen. And it kind of spread throughout the whole team. And we got a normal Heat culture type win on the road, it seems like.
Yeah, no, I definitely did. I think I agree with you 100% there. Like I said, it felt like the cardiac arrest, heart attack, Heat win,
Right.
But I mean, it is what it is. I mean, I think that everybody played their part, we had a couple people obviously come in, at one point, I can't remember at the end of what it was, but we played 10 guys, I believe.
Yeah, that was it.
Played only 7 or 8, So Spo went deep into the rotation. That would be something that I'd be, curious to see if he does again, But I think he should do it, and I think he could do it, especially the fact that we have a couple of big bodies that we could throw at Joker and just be like, bam, 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 maybe a foul or two. And, we have Zeller, we have Love, we have Highsmith too, who could bang.
I'm glad you brought that guy up, man. He's
bring
been amazing.
Bring those guys in. 2 of those 3 are very effective offensively,
Right.
And just let him bang with Joker. So Bam doesn't feel like, the whole game that he's banging with Jokers. Man, let me tell you something. Joker is a big boy.
Big boy, dog. 300 pounds, 7 feet, moves Joker's like a fucking small forward.
Yeah. Joker's not like he's like, I don't even know how to, he's big.
He's a unicorn, dog.
Dude. Yeah, he's a big dude. Like, there's not like, he doesn't have muscle, like he's not tall like that. He's got mass. And that mass, and that mass is thick and strong. It's not like little flabs here and there. Nah, man, that that mass he's gonna put a dent in you if he throws an elbow or he pounds you, and that's why nobody can move that guy or stop him.
Yeah, he's definitely, in my opinion, should have been the MVP this season because of, just how he can change the game against whoever with that type of team that they have. But I will say this, what I really like tonight from the Heat is their grit. They showed a lot of it. They weren't complaining to the refs. You saw Denver complaining a lot to the refs throughout the whole game. And the Heat were willing to grind out this win. And I don't think Denver was prepared for that.
You just said it right there again. The Heat like these type of games. They want to grind. Yeah. I could only picture what Spo's telling him in the locker. It was like, this is our type of game. This is how we like to win, and a lot of people don't like it because it's ugly,
right?
It's difficult, and it's mentally tough, and it's true because you have to play through those fouls. You have to play through those things that get you weak for those 2 or 3 possessions.
Yeah.
Because if you become weak for those 2 or 3 possessions, that could be the game. That could be the game that turns everything around. So, I could just suppose that's what he's preaching, because they're prepared for this, like I said. And Denver may have not been prepared for like these grinding out type of games, and Well, here we are, 1-1, and now they learned that all right, they need to be better prepared, to grind it out with the Heat because they're gonna grind it out and they're gonna win.
For sure, especially heading back to Miami, man. Before we wrap up, give me your thoughts on what you expect to see in Game 3. I know I'm sure you're gonna be. I don't know if you'll be back in the building back then.
No,
No,
I
you
won't
won't.
be
You still
back
be
yet.
traveling. Okay, so
Yeah,
like,
for the
what
travel.
do you expect to see from this Heat team come Game 3? Because are they going to be the same game type of team we saw tonight, or are we looking for a different version?
No, we're gonna here's the thing. We're definitely gonna see a different team. And because Spo's gonna try to find a way to insert Hero, So that's another
Right.
body that we're gonna see that we haven't seen. Somebody's gonna lose minutes, Somebody's gonna lose minutes. Maybe Robinson, but how can you, he's been playing so well.
So great.
Maybe, Highsmith, but then you need that body,
For defense.
to bang. So I don't know who's gonna lose the minutes yet. Not my problem, Spo's problem. but you'll see a different type of game. Now, I'm not telling you we're changing this whole scheme, this whole thing 180, but definitely gonna see a little different because you have to find a way to insert Hero, because if you go to a Game 6 and possibly a Game 7, you're gonna need that guy.
Yeah, for sure.
You're gonna need him. His shooting is phenomenal. So you're gonna need that when a Robinson may be struggling, or Strus is struggling, or even a Caleb Martin struggling. You're gonna need that guy. You're gonna you're next man up. So I don't see like a lineup change. I think he sticks with Love.
Think so too.
I think that it did it well, but I do see like maybe the 6th, 7th, 8th man coming off the bench, maybe a little different. So maybe a little shake up there.
I like that, man. And yeah, Hero's definitely going to be an X factor, right? Third leading scorer for the Heat this year. A guy who can put up 20 points any given night, and him coming off the bench just gives us more ammunition to battle, and take advantage whenever they sitting Joker and sitting down Murray, man. Jaime, bro, go ahead, finish your thought.
No, I was gonna say that the last thing I'll say before we go is that I love the fact that the Heat won because, boy, all I saw the last 2 days is the sweep. Here we go, the sweep. The Heat are gonna get swept. And look, here we are for all the Heat haters or the ones that say that we're gonna get swept. We're 1-1. So now there's no sweep, and now it's coming back to Miami, and in reality we have home court now per se.
Right.
So let's see if we can keep it.
Let's see, man. Let's see. It's going to be an interesting series, bro. It's been great so far. And hopefully you and I can do this again before you get back, brother.
All right, man.
I appreciate you. Thank you so much for joining us here, man.
For sure, man. Stay in touch.
Yes, sir. That's Jaime Gutierrez. Y'all follow him on Instagram, j.gutierrez, FIBA at Instagram, and all his also shows social media. He's an amazing contributor, does a lot of great work with FIBA, and obviously he has a great basketball mind. This post game is a wrap. The Heat take the victory 111-108 in Denver, sponsored by Empire Boutique. Go get your 305 High Leader shirt like this so you guys can rep for Game 3 at home. Until next time, it's your boy So. Peace.